Down on the other end.
Yeah.
So what do we do about?
Well, that's up to you. I mean, I thought you were.
I didn't have anything planned, but I can still say thank you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to starting this discussion.
Yeah.
Congratulations to hardworking men and women of CTrail.
There you go. Just hope we get in while yeah, I can imagine. So you could be here a while. Yeah.
Steve's not going to
Wow. Yeah, this is great. Oh, sure, go ahead. Oh, do you? Oh, wow. Yeah, me too. I got
Wow. Spread. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. So, are we on here?
This is actually up.
Uh-oh, okay.
I feel like 15 here. Yesterday I think it was a little warmer, but today they just said it was going to rain and it was going to be like 40 degrees. I mean, I guess it's April weather, but I just was like expecting there's more out of this long winter. Oh, I didn't mean media.
You guys do a radio show?
We're news, yeah.
Oh, cool.
What about you?
Live stream on YouTube.
Oh, cool. So I am live saying thank you for
That white building was not so good. This is like stock.
It's not going to start for another 15 minutes, so if you want to stay out as long as I wait then just about okay. Alright.
You are.
Just basically.
Wow.
Let me take it on that press conference.
Is that for them or?
Media kits, do you need one?
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks. Go show this to my boys online later on.
11 minutes of Hartford. I call it the first events last year. 11, 8 Friday nights. Christian
I think it's, I always use an example of somebody who's not. It's like you say, my.
Hey, Greg, what's up?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or are they? Okay, gotcha.
It's crazy.
I had a feeling Jose would be here. The governor is here for this.
No, I know. It's good. It's good. Yeah, no, these I can schedule.
Oh, yeah. I think we all are.
That way for a while.
So all these speakers can I like their instructions. I like the way they lay out. It's just on demand. Yeah. it's like in the session, so you can start this out here and then turn off the lead, turn off the rhythm, and then you play. That's really what you should do. You know, now you gotta keep trying, you gotta play along, you gotta play along, you gotta go with it. And hey, Mike. Stuff is starting to make sense. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't played in 2 weeks. Trick is in my Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
How are you? Excuse us. Thank you.
Hartford is
There you go. There you go. Good.
Hey. Nice to see you. Welcome, Meriden. Hey, buddy.
RJ verifying our names.
He did.
He's in. Okay, keep an eye out for it. They call me every
Can I have your attention, please? I hate to do this, but no one should be on that tactile strip behind the yellow line. Thank you.
Sure, I recognize NEC from here in housing. Yeah, oh, it is.
Mayor's all pumped.
Yes. Oh, he's excited.
If we could just get
Yes.
start getting a little nervous with 3 minutes to go.
Come rolling in.
He'll come screaming in, yeah.
So if we can bring him right to his ramp here.
Too slow on that one. Who's coming out there?
Yeah, we have somebody make a call. Yeah.
We don't give up.
Probably radio.
This is one of his guys.
Yeah, I have your card in my file. Because I haven't actually taped to my file. Yeah, because my son was 8. Right. Someday I want to put him in touch with you and maybe work with him.
Oh, nothing much. Just ready to get started.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Sure.
might be a good angle.
Might be going back and forth. Yeah, okay, jump.
In 2 days, the weekends of...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't realize it was there.
Excuse me. Through on you. Okay, maybe that was it. Okay.
Even with the CTrail logo, that was pretty cool. That was a loud feedback if you heard it.
Watch out, guys. I'm gonna move this real quick.
Ken Morgan, our acting city manager.
Yeah. Excuse me, ladies, if you don't mind, I'm trying to record. I'm on live. Need to get a clear shot.
Sorry, guys. One more interruption. I'll get out of your way.
Push it back?
No, it's gonna happen. More in the center.
I will, but I
I got yelled at once.
I figured they would too. I was like, I'll give you the whole thing.
Yeah, that's much better.
then maybe, you know, what I do, maybe once I
You're gonna have to clear a path through here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to secure a position. I kind of have to stay here.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you face. You're gonna face the light. Yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll take photos. And then you've done it face the light.
We're all gonna line up.
That's what you're saying.
It's after 8:30.
What's up, Harrison? It's after 8:30 now. We should get started soon. My hands are freeze. All right, in a moment you'll see the governor, which is on his way up to the ramp. So be ready to cheer. The governor is coming in a few minutes. And there he is.
Welcome back, Governor. Nice to see you, sir. Excuse me.
All right. Governor, how are you? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So you're going to be right here.
Neither can I. It's going to open in 2 months with 2 free rides in the weekend, and the rest of the days we charges. So be there or be square. Here we go. We're about to get started.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the City of Meriden and our brand new transit center here in downtown Meriden. My name is Kevin Scarpati, Mayor of the great City of Meriden. And if you will indulge me for just a moment, I'd like to introduce a few elected officials that are behind me and members of staff that played a pivotal role in getting us to the point we are at today. Starting with our elected officials, my colleagues on the City Council that helped make this happen. We have City Councilors David Lowell, Brian Daniels, Kathy Batista, and Sonia Jelks, along with our acting City Manager, Mr. Ken Morgan. If we can give them all a round of applause, please. Someone who fought so hard up at the Capitol on behalf of the City of Meriden for many, many years, the former Speaker of the House, Mr. Chris Donovan. Chris, thank you for all your work. I know we have several department heads and city staff in the audience, so just a special thanks to all staff here in the City of Meriden and everything you've done from economic development, public works, our police department to help keep this on track, no pun intended, and keep this thing going. The Meriden Chamber of Commerce for believing in this project from day one, seeing it through to fruition and helping with the business community here in Meriden. Connecticut DOT, and you're going to hear more about their role in this project as I call upon the Commissioner in just a moment to come up and say a few remarks. And of course, Governor Malloy, for your leadership, not only up in Hartford, but believing in Meriden and knowing that in order to make Connecticut successful, Meriden needs to be successful. You've been a great partner all along, not only in this project, but so many. So to the Governor, thank you very much for your work. Today marks a momentous day in the city. Several months ago, almost a year and a half ago, we were across the street where we cut the ribbon on the new Meriden Green. That started the change of vision in downtown. Here we are today, embarking on a new journey, cutting the ribbon to our transit center, our train station here along the rail line. I truly see Meriden as a destination for many people in the state of Connecticut, whether they're commuting to work or want to come to a place that they can enjoy. And I'm proud to welcome you all today. At this time, it's an honor to pass this off, to continue this ceremony with the Commissioner from Connecticut DOT, Mr. Commissioner Redeker. Thank you very much.
Mayor, you're right. This is a momentous day. This is nothing but a vision just a few short years ago. And here we are to cut the ribbon on a brand new station, which is a destination, which is an origin, which is at the center of Connecticut, but connecting to the entire region, north to Springfield, south to New Haven, to Boston, to New York, and beyond. This station will become an epicenter for travel, but more importantly, perhaps, is economic development. And from my perspective, that is why we do investments in transportation. If you look up and down this corridor alone, transit-oriented development that has taken place before we start service on June 16th has already totaled over $300 million. And we haven't opened service yet. So a testament to, so my role here is to thank the team of DOT and our partners in operations, design, and construction who have made this happen. It takes an incredible amount of work, detail, attention to progress, to schedule, and to budget to make projects like this happen. This station is just a real marvel. It is a state-of-the-art station that will provide a place for the next century as a hub of development, a hub of transportation. It brings amenities like no other stations other than this line has. Heated platforms that clear themselves in the winter. Modern technology for communications, train arrivals, ticketing, and a terrific facility for everybody that can accommodate all users of any age and every mobility need. So it is a thrill to be here today to mark yet one more step toward the opening of service on June 16th. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Governor Malloy, who hired me, but also who has been the leader and the force and the visionary and the funder for transportation infrastructure, including this station. Governor Malloy.
Hey, it's great to be with you. I do want to, before I get into my remarks, Mayor Rohde's here, former mayor. This is an interesting situation. I got introduced to this project, this overall project, before I was governor. In fact, the speaker was a part of that as well. I could instantly see the potential of Meriden, having visited here, having campaigned here, but really laying out a plan to lift so much of the city out of the floodplain, to modernize facilities, to build new housing opportunities, and to anchor, as an additional anchor, restore, train this station, real travel, travel between cities on this line. This has been a long time coming. It's been a vision for, I think, literally from the time they stopped service till the time they restore service. And I think Connecticut made a lot of bad decisions on transportation over a very long period of time. And one of the things that I'm proud of is, at the very least, we have laid out a vision of what transportation in Connecticut could and should be. And we've laid out a vision of how that could be funded. And we've laid out a vision of how that would positively impact the state of Connecticut by making us far more competitive for the kinds of jobs that we need to attract back to some of our smaller cities, into some of our bigger cities, and quite frankly, to allow for the traffic for individuals, which is what traffic is, to move around our state in different ways. And ultimately to relieve some of the problems that we have built into our highway systems by not modernizing them, by not adding capacity, and quite frankly, in the long run, also finding ways to do that less expensively, doing it on time and on budget. And that's in part what we celebrate here, this station, and it is a beautiful station and envisioned, I think, wisely. But in this corridor, just within hundreds of yards, we're talking about over $150 million of additional development that has taken place and is taking place as a result of the commitment to reestablish this service. And what will this service allow on this 67-mile corridor? Real transportation alternatives, real possibilities of moving from major cities to smaller cities to out-of-state cities. The possibility on a timely basis to travel anywhere in this corridor to New York or Boston in another route. And on a long-term vision, what does it mean? It means reestablishing better service through Vermont to Montreal, better service through Springfield to Boston, and a catchment area of literally millions of people accessing a system that had been taken out of service decades ago, but now is being replaced. There are lots of heroes in this event. I've identified the former mayor, who's a great friend, and the former speaker who had the vision, and certainly the DOT and Commissioner Redeker, who have done such a wonderful job. And by the way, this is not one station. This is multiple stations being brought on at the same time, and looking forward to the service that will be reestablished here in June. And that's the big day, when we actually see trains up and down this corridor on a regular basis, picking up passengers on a regular basis, and doing so at a very affordable price. Here's a story. I was in a public place the other day, yesterday, on the radio, on the background was a story about the reestablishment of this service. And in that announcement, they talked about how cheaply someone will be able to travel from Hartford to New Haven. And people, they didn't actually know I was there, they couldn't see me, started talking about how that's a better alternative than driving into New Haven or driving into Hartford from either direction. And I can also tell you that the people in Springfield are excited about being able to access the corridor towns as well. So this is an important day, it's an exciting day, and it's a day that's not just dedicated to itself or what begins here in June, but is actually dedicated to decades of development to take place in the future on this corridor, because some people stood strong and made sure we built out this system and reestablished this service. Lots of you are on that side of the audience, and I want to thank each and every one of you, as I do thank all of the folks behind me. Congratulations to Meriden for all that they've accomplished, or might I be so bold as to say, what we've accomplished together. Thank you.
It is a great privilege to introduce one of the champions that did create part of the vision and initiate this, and I'd like to bring up Chris Donovan.
Thank you. It's great to see everybody here. I just want to say thank you to everyone. This is really a team effort. The governor and his office and the commissioner and his department were just tremendous. I mean, it was quite a challenge. There was obstacles along the way, but once the funding was there, once they were ready to go, it's amazing how efficient they were. And they provided a service that, again, will, as the governor said, will last for many and many, many years. I live in Meriden, and as many of you know, and I work in Hartford, which many of the people who travel that way also know that when you come home, it's hard to get home. There's a bottleneck on 91. There's a bottleneck on 91 pretty much everywhere along rush hour. And now we have an open artery so that people can travel to and from those communities and get to work and come home to their families. This is a real service to our community. And I, again, want to thank the governor and all the people who worked on it. Thank you for this service. The people who live here are very grateful for it. And I also want to thank, besides the governor and the commissioner and the agencies who worked hard, there were legislators along the way. My friend Jim Abrams, now a judge, he was worked for it, and Buddy Altabello and Tom Gaffey and Kathy Abercrombie and Hilda Santiago, who took it up after me. I mean, we all worked together. We worked with other governors. We worked with other commissioners. But when the time came and it was ready to go, we had Governor Malloy and Commissioner Rediker make it happen. So I want to thank them for their fine work. Thank you very much.
I do want to give a shout out to Chris Kervick, who came from Windsor Locks, another epicenter of TOD. On the train. Where's the train team? Raise your hands. Yeah, came down on the train for the event. Thank you so much. Next on our speaking list is David Course, Deputy Commissioner from DECD. David.
Thanks, everybody. David Course, Deputy Commissioner, DECD. I'll be brief. I just want to make 2 points. One, I had the professional opportunity very early in my career, 12 years ago, to run a program called Mayor's Institute on Community Design at Regional Plan Association. And one of the first communities that we invited to participate in that was the city of Meriden. And at that time, the daylighting of the river was a concept, the restoration of commuter rail was a concept, and we talked together with Juliet and others from the team here at the city about what they could ultimately do to take advantage of those public investments. And it's really to their credit that 10 years, 12 years, the continued focus at all levels of government across the public, private, and civic sector to keep the ball moving forward, because none of this would have happened on its own, and that focus is really a testament to the folks here and really what needs to be replicated throughout the state. The second point I'll make is about the TOD. We see great buildings going up on Colony behind us where dilapidated former public housing used to stand, and that's really just the beginning. And the point I'd like to make there is, even with this public infrastructure, even with planning, a document that could have sat on the shelf, but for the great work of all the folks here in the city, this still wouldn't happen on its own. And it's been investment on behalf of the administration through DECD with brownfields, through DOH with housing support, and a lot of different players coming together to make sure that the transit-oriented development, the mixed-use development, the housing, the commercial, the retail would happen concurrently to this. And the Malloy administration, I think one of the great successes of this governor has been the interdepartmental coordination. This stuff doesn't happen within silos. It takes DOT, DECD, DOH, DEEP, all working together. And Meriden has really been the pilot project, and I think the example for the rest of the state for how we can come together across sectors and across different levels of government to result in the types of economic development that are a natural extension of this type of infrastructure investment. And I hope that folks from throughout the state will come to Meriden, we'll talk with you all, understand how you achieve this results so that we can replicate this throughout the Connecticut transit system. Thank you and congratulations to you all.
And our final speaker at the moment is Douglas Hahn, who is the general manager of our CTrail rail operations, and I'd like to invite Doug up for a few words.
Wow. Thank you all for coming today. Those of us at Transit America Services, Alternate Concepts, we're excited to be here, but the reality of it is we're going to play a pretty small role amongst a really great team of people. That begins with the hardworking men and women at CTDOT, our partners at Amtrak, Metro North, and the Federal Railroad Administration. We're ready to run trains June 16th. Thank you.
Got a ribbon, and then I'll take some questions.
Time for the ribbon cut.
Let's get everybody in the picture. Come on in.
Count of three. Let's see if this works. 1, 2, 3. Hey!
Woo!
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you. All right, I'll take some questions from the press, if there are any. Otherwise, we'll get out of the cold. All right. Going once? Yep.
You was initially told us the start date was hopefully going to be next month in May. What is the reason for this extra 2 weeks of delay that the start date is now?
It just, we need some practice on the rail system. So there are going to be about 500 hours per engine of practice. What we don't want to see is replication of mistakes that other new lines have introduced, and we want our folks to be very familiar with the system.
When you say that, are you thinking about what happened out west in Oregon?
I'm thinking of things like that.
Also, I'm just saying some of the cars are being leased, former cars from the Massachusetts DOT. Are those cars all renovated?
They will be in time for June 16th. Yep.
Beware that the Mass DOT had said a few years back that these weren't worth putting money into. Can you assure the taxpayers that putting the $4 million or so?
I think that the series of stories that have reported that have not actually been accurate. If Massachusetts didn't believe in the cars, they would have disposed of them. In fact, sister cars are still on the line and still in use. And I think that there was a misunderstanding about that. These cars will be good cars, and quite frankly, I think people will be proud to have the cars in the service. We have older cars in service in Connecticut now.
Just last question. I've been over on the train stations down in Haven. I've spoken to some commuters there who are still concerned about some of the delays on Shoreline East. They're having issues getting towns east of New Haven. Are you working to resolve maybe that problem? What do you say to folks who are dealing with delays in the existing services when this one will launch?
You know what I say to people on the rail line who complain about delays on the rail line? Try the highways. But yes, of course we work on it.
Mr. Governor, got a question.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a CTrail app to go with, the ticket booths over there?
Well, first of all, we have the ticket booths there, and we have apps, and there will be additional information available as service is restored on this line.
Is there also going to be a tracker to go with it?
A tracker?
Like a train tracker?
Yeah. What? You want to handle that?
So, we'll be able to display real-time train information, so that's what these boards are about, and we're, with opening, we'll have that as well. As to apps, we will be introducing apps later this year, so cell phone apps and all kinds of, but you can buy online, you can buy it here at ticket machines, and there's a ticket machine on display just around the corner if you want to take a look at it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good questions.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
Are you guys going to start with full service, or are you guys going to be working up to that?
At full service, yeah. Unless you want us to do something else.
Commissioner Redeker, about how many cars are on each of these trains for cars?
Yeah, 3 cars.
3 cars. And again, 17 daily round trips, is that correct?
Correct. Well done.
Cars, okay.
And 12 to Springfield. 12 will be going to Springfield. Of those, 12 will go to Springfield. Anybody else? Going once? Going.
Curious. So we want to take the rail line Hartford, go down the head, road
Well, you want to kind of give some examples of costs on the line? Do you have them in your head?
Yeah. Well, that's $8 for a one-way ticket. It'll be less for a round-trip ticket, and so it's really quite a bargain. Today's fares that Amtrak charges will be reduced to those levels. So if you're used to this line, stay tuned for a real bargain. So starting June 16th, equalized fares. You pay a fare, you take any train that comes.
There is also multiple ticketing pricing. Yeah. So there's multiple ticket pricing, which is quite low. So it's kind of exciting. Anybody else? We got it? Go home. All right. Thank you. I thought we did.
All right. Thank you for watching.
Here we go. All right.